Almost every fish in the world can be caught on bait, but most anglers only ever use one or two kinds and never learn the rest. In this video, we will go through every main type of fishing bait, one by one, so you know exactly what each one is, where it works, and how to use it. Stay until the end, because the final bait is the most effective one of all. It is the bait that guides trust when they want the biggest fish in the water, and it beats almost anything you can buy in a jar. Earthworms and night crawlers. Let's start with the bait that has caught more fish than any other, the humble worm. This is the common earthworm and the bigger night crawler, soft and wriggling, with a strong smell that fish pick up fast. Worms work in almost every freshwater place on Earth, which is why they are the bait most people start with. Panfish, trout, catfish, and bass will all take a worm without a second thought. To use one, thread it onto your hook, but leave part of it loose so it keeps wriggling, then fish it under a float or rest it on the bottom. The movement and the scent do the rest. One simple trick helps a lot. For small fish, use only a piece of a worm on a small hook, so the fish gets the hook and not just a free meal off the end. If you only ever learn one bait in your life, make it this one. Minnows and small live bait fish. When the meal a fish wants is another fish, nothing works quite like offering a small fish, live minnows and bait fish. These are small swimming bait like minnows, shiners, and young shad, sold live at most bait shops. Predators are wired to chase small fish, so bass, walleye, crappie, and pike find them very hard to ignore. The key is to keep the bait alive and swimming in a natural way. Hook it lightly through the lips or just under the back so it stays lively, then fish it under a float or on a simple jig head. Hooking through the lips lets the minnow swim forward naturally, while hooking through the back makes it struggle in place, which can drive a nearby predator wild. A worm tempts a fish into biting. A live minnow triggers a predator into hunting. Leeches. Some of the best baits are the ones beginners never think to try, and this is one of them, the leech. The kind sold as bait is the ribbon leech, a soft, dark, ribbon-shaped creature that does not bite you like the ones people fear. In the water, it swims with a slow, rolling ripple that fish find hard to resist. Walleye and panfish love them, especially in warm water when the leeches are most active. To fish one, hook it once through the tough sucker end so it can still swim freely, then move it slowly under a float or on a light jig. Ugly to you, but irresistible to a hungry walleye. Crickets and grasshoppers. Look at what falls into the water on a warm summer day, and you have found your next bait, land insects. Crickets and grasshoppers are light, natural food that fish see all season. On hot days, these insects fall from the grass and trees along the bank, and fish learn to wait right underneath them. Bluegill, perch, and trout all rise for them eagerly. To use one, hook the insect lightly so it stays alive and looks natural, then let it drift near the surface or just below it with as little weight as possible. Match what is already dropping off the bank, and the fish will not think twice before taking it. Crayfish. This bait is a favorite of some of the biggest fish that swim in fresh water. The crayfish. A crayfish is a small freshwater crustacean, a bit like a tiny lobster, with two claws and a hard shell. They live under rocks and along the bottom of rivers and lakes, and bass, catfish, and big trout hunt them hard because they are rich, filling food. To use one, hook it through the tail from underneath so it stays natural, then fish it slowly on the bottom near rocky areas where crayfish really live. A useful detail is color. Crayfish often turn a rusty orange in late summer and fall, and matching that color can get you more bites at that time of year. If you want a big bass instead of a small one, a crayfish is how you ask for it. Shrimp and saltwater. Crustaceans. Move from freshwater into the salt, and one bait feeds almost everything that swims there. Shrimp. Shrimp and other small crustaceans can be fished, live or dead, and very few saltwater fish will turn one down. Redfish, snapper, sheep's head, and flounder all eat shrimp as a normal part of their diet. For active fish, hook a live shrimp under a float so it drifts naturally. For fish that hunt by smell, a dead shrimp on the bottom works just as well. Hook it through the tail or just under the horn on its head so it stays on the cast. In salt water, shrimp is the bait that almost never gets refused. Cut bait. Sometimes the best bait is not alive at all, It is a piece of another fish, cut bait. This means chunks, strips, or heads of oily fish like mackerel, mullet, or shad. As it sits in the water, it bleeds a strong scent trail that pulls in fish from far away. Catfish, sharks, and many saltwater species hunt mostly by smell, and cut bait speaks their language. To use it, fish a piece on the bottom and let the scent do the work while you wait. Fresh and oily always beats old and dry, so cut your bait fresh whenever you can. A small tip: scoring the skin with a few shallow cuts lets out even more scent and speeds up the bite. Live bait calls fish in with movement. Cut bait calls them in with smell. Salmon eggs and roe. For one family of fish, a small bead of color beats almost everything else. Fish eggs. This bait is salmon eggs or clusters of roe, fished as a single egg or a small sack of them. Trout, steelhead, and salmon eat eggs naturally during spawning runs, so this bait matches a food they already crave and search for. The trick is a natural drift. Let a single egg or a small sack tumble along the bottom of a river so it rolls with the current, exactly as a loose egg would. In a cold, clear river full of trout, few baits can match a fresh egg drifting past their nose. Prepared dough and pantry baits. You may already have the next bait sitting in your kitchen: dough and pantry baits. This covers bread, sweet corn, cheese, and homemade dough balls pressed onto a hook. Carp, catfish, and many other bottom feeders love soft, sweet, or strong-smelling food, and these cheap baits work far better than most people expect. The main thing is to keep the bait on the hook. Mold your dough or bread firmly around the hook and barb so it survives the cast, then fish it on the bottom near where fish are feeding. If soft bait keeps flying off, mix in a little flour to stiffen it, or switch to canned corn, which stays on the hook easily and catches carp all day. This one is proof that good bait does not have to cost you anything at all. Power bait and scented synthetic bait. Bait makers took that same idea and built a product around one sense: smell. This is power bait and other scented synthetic baits, a soft, moldable, brightly colored bait packed with strong scent and flavor. It works best on stock trout, which grow up eating feed pellets and take to this scented, floating bait very quickly. To use it, mold a small ball around a treble hook and fish it so it floats just off the bottom, where a cruising trout can smell it and find it. It is made in a factory, but for stock trout, it can honestly outfish the real thing. Artificial lures as bait. Not all bait is something a fish can eat. Some of it only pretends to be food. Artificial lures. This group includes soft plastics that imitate worms and baitfish, and hard baits like crankbaits and spoons that copy a small swimming fish. They carry nothing to eat and no scent of their own, yet they still get bites because they look and move like real prey. The whole job is in how you work them. Cast the lure out and reel it back so it swims, wobbles, or darts like the living thing it is copying. The reward is a bait you never have to buy again and again, just movement that fools the fish. Live native bait fish. And now the most effective bait of all, the one I promised at the start. It is not something in a jar or a package. It is a live bait fish that your target fish already hunts, taken alive and fresh from the same kind of water. This means matching the exact prey the big fish there feeds on, like a shad, a large shiner, a mullet, or an eel. A big predator has spent its whole life eating these, so a lively, correctly matched bait fish looks like an easy, familiar meal and gets taken with complete confidence. To use it, hook it so it can still swim naturally, keep it as lively as you can, and present it right where the big fish holds. The more real the bait fish looks and moves, the harder it becomes to refuse. Every bait before this one imitates a meal or offers a piece of one. This one is the whole living meal, exactly as the biggest fish expects it. When guides want the fish of a lifetime, this is what goes on the hook.